There's a memorandum that was issued on Friday. Here's a quote. Our southern border is under attack from a variety of threats. The complexity of the current situation requires that our military take more direct role in securing our southern border than in the recent past. Trump wrote that in the memo to Interior Secretary Doug Burgum and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. I had a fascinating conversation for the TV show with the president of the Arizona Farm Bureau. And his conversations, we were talking about tariffs and what it might do to the agriculture industry. Their bigger concern was at that time border enforcement. And the reason why, when talking with him, is that their industry is one that's run very well when it comes to the border, with the way they have visas for their workers to cross the border, come back and forth, and it's ease of process for them to get in and out of the country. But without securing the border, and you could see in the video when I was interviewing him, he was, it was a Zoom call or something. He was stationed on the land where the border fence ends. Now, I made a trip to the border about a month ago, and I was in Arivaca in southern Arizona, and the border fence extends east toward Nogales, but there's a gap in that fence right now where the fence is not complete, where the structure is not complete, about 17 miles. So we went and drove from the town of Arivaca, drove the entire length of the wall until it ended. And you can see that's where people still are crossing. They're walking around the wall. But that doesn't fix the problem. It's this political conversation, and it seems like we are always having it, about border security and technology. Yes, I think technology is a huge piece of this puzzle because the cartels are not going to give up. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, both in human trafficking and in drug trafficking. And the more we all know that this was happening, maybe still is, but was happening, that the cartels would send people across the border in waves. And I was hearing stories of nights where they were capturing hundreds of people. They were helping some, and these are private organizations that were down there. When the border policies were different than this president's border policies, people would cross into the U.S. and then they would camp on the U.S. side of the border, 50 feet from the border wall on the U.S. side, and they would camp there, and they would just wait for Border Patrol to come and get them, or CBP. And so with all that processing that was going on and the constant grind, because the laws mandate that once you take them into custody, you've got to give them a hearing within a certain amount of time. The problem that was happening is we were being overwhelmed with the drugs. It was used as a diversion tactic, and it worked very well. Arizona is known as the fentanyl superhighway. And so we understand that when you distract them from doing that work, there is a story here in front of me of a woman that tried to smuggle in 8,000 rounds of ammunition into Mexico, and she was paid $150 a box for this ammunition, and by the cartels, apparently, whoever her client was in Mexico. And she said she had done this safely, but I mean without getting caught, undetected, I guess is the word, 3 other times. Well, why did she get caught the 4th time? Was it luck? I guess it could be. But is it also that CBP now has the labor force focused more on interdicting illegal activity, whether it's money or ammunition or firearms being smuggled into Mexico, or it's people or drugs being smuggled into the U.S. through ports of entry? Instead of focusing on asylum seekers, now with the dramatic drop in numbers of illegal crossings, it's not at zero, but the numbers of crossings have dropped dramatically. They can focus more on this illegal activity. The cartels are not going to quit this multi-billion-dollar industry. They're going to use drones. And drones are inexpensive, and you can fly them from a multitude of places, and you can carry heavy cargo. You can drop it in the desert, whatever your cargo is, drugs, and somebody on the American side of the border can pick it up and mule it the rest of the way into the U.S. But there is technology that can stop those drones. You have as simple as this technology is. I'm sure somebody out there knows a lot more about this than I do. That you are able to put that virtual fence around your property. And if your dog is wearing a collar, they can't leave your property. It's a virtual fence that if they go across, it's a shock collar, or it sends some kind of a signal so the dogs don't approach the fence. It is a virtual fence. And so if you can do that, you can stop a drone from flying from the Mexican side of the border to the U.S. side of the border, or vice versa. That crossing that virtual fence is going to take down that drone. And there's technology out there with cameras and detectors. So we should be employing all of the above. The focus had to be on border security, and they're getting a handle on it. That border structure in the areas, at least in the areas where I was, very effective. That it's stopping people. The issue is you are going to have people that want to climb over it. But if you are dramatically reducing the numbers and you're using technology, so we don't have people that are coming here illegally that want to work, then you can focus on the ones that are coming here or probably coming here for illegal purposes. Then here's the other shift, and this is the direction I hope America goes. And that is, let's protect the dreamers. I think that's a no-brainer for most people. But it's also about work permits. And let's take the people that were filing false asylum claims, because that was the pathway that the Biden administration gave them to come into the country. Let's take those people that are here, that are good people, that are honest people, that would be assets to the American workforce, and let's put them to work. I mentioned earlier, and we're going to talk more about this, of course, in the next hour. If the president is right about his economic plan and jobs are going to return, and those high-tech jobs, if what he's doing with tariffs and the microchip industry, people are going to be gravitating to these higher-paying, high-tech jobs. If immigrants are coming here and willing to work in jobs, not necessarily that are all lower-paying, but doing jobs that Americans aren't doing because they're taking these new jobs, this new generation of jobs, isn't it smart for America? Isn't it smart for us to say, let's make an easier path for the workforce? And I hope that's the case. I hope that's what's coming.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.